So despite the fact that Donald Trump has received more press coverage over the course of the past year than even the Kardashians did during their heyday, a lot of Americans still apparently don't know what to expect out of him. I was looking at some polling data on YouGov, and they asked Americans a number of different things. But the part I want to focus on is what is Donald Trump's base ideology? Is he a liberal? Is he a conservative? Is he a moderate, which I don't think is a political ideology, but it's always included in polls like this? What does he actually believe? How does he approach the world? And people seem to have no idea. So take a look at this. You're going to see a comparison between what they think about Barack Obama and what they think about Donald Trump. Now, half of all Americans think that Barack Obama is a liberal, which I think he is. I don't think he's a hardcore liberal. I don't think he often sticks to his guns, but I think he is, in some sense at least, a liberal. 9% think he's conservative. That might be a little bit of snark there. 1 out of 5 don't pay attention. So all understandable on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, 11% of all Americans still apparently think Donald Trump is a liberal. What liberal thing has he done since he burst onto the campaign scene? What big liberal positions does he have? But 11% are sure, and they're not like, well, maybe he is. They say, given the choice, I will choose liberal. 20% say moderate. That's totally fine if you think that. I can understand, considering the misinformation and how self-contradictory he is and all of that. If you leave that thinking that he's a moderate, I can sort of understand that. I can even sort of understand the 31% who say that they're not sure. First of all, I like that they admit that they don't know. I think that that's far too rare today. But 1 out of 3 saying they don't know is interesting, considering the fact that supposedly he was drawing in all of these new voters who don't typically pay attention. We just finished an election, which he won, and 1 out of 3 people don't know what his ideology is, which is interesting. 37%, by the way, saying that he is conservative. Here's the thing. These are complicated terms, and you can say, well, a person can be conservative or liberal on several different issue areas. Generally, we break them down to sort of economic or social issues, foreign or domestic. People can defer on that. But overall, he's a conservative. I don't even care what he thinks his ideology is. And I don't care if there might be some complications. That's interesting, and we can talk about it. But he's a conservative. All of the things that he hasn't simply tweeted about and then contradicted, the things where he has chosen a person, we can look at the sorts of people he's choosing. What is their ideology? The things he says he's going to do as president are conservative things. But 31% aren't sure, and 11% think he's a liberal, which means 4 out of 10 Americans don't know. And again, I like people admitting that they don't know. I'm a little bit more scared about the 11% who are just clearly wrong there. But this is a little bit scary, don't you think? I mean, the guy won. He was covered and covered and covered and tweeted and tweeted and tweeted. We had, his public rallies around the country, and people don't know. And he even won, by the way, despite the fact that people apparently don't know what his fundamental approach to politics and the world and America and other people are. I know that you can vote for people for things other than what their ideology is. If you want to throw a rock through the window or burn baby burn or whatever the hell it is, I understand that, but it is odd that people would not understand. Now what's interesting is, if this is what people actually think about Donald Trump, then going forward, what will the consequences of this information be? Well, he is going to govern as a hard-right president, almost certainly. Perhaps not. And we'll acknowledge it if it doesn't happen, but almost certainly. And so the vast majority of people who don't think he's a hardcore conservative or don't yet understand it are going to discover that. Now, are some of them going to like it? Probably. But are all of them? Probably not. And so it's likely that a lot of the people who are probably giving him the benefit of the doubt and thinking that he's more complicated than he is, and thinking that he has diverse opinions about different topics when he doesn't, might be a little bit shocked at what his governance is actually like. And again, I could be wrong, but this is what I think might happen, and that is some very interesting polling data there from YouGov. Let me know what you think about this. What exact label would you put on him? And don't feel bound by liberal, moderate, or conservative. Use whatever words you want, and I'll see you in the next one.